Hello everyone, and welcome to another Tea Time with me, Amanda Prochaska. Today is a beautiful day in Las Vegas, so you're going to go on a little bit of a walk with me as we talk about measuring success and what that really looks like in organizations these days. And no, this is not a video about what you should be measuring and what you shouldn't be measuring, because it's always different. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so someone asked me the other day, what should I be measuring as we're implementing this new system or going through this massive change? Really, whatever it might be, how are we supposed to measure success? And what I always ask first is, well, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So, for instance, if you are looking at an outcome like that's focused on savings, your success metrics might be completely different than an organization that's looking for automation and efficiency. So it really starts with understanding what your outcomes or priorities are. We're working with a client right now, and it's all about end-to-end visibility. And another client, it's all about how can we automate as many steps as we can. And we have a third client right now who's looking at how can I drive cost savings out through this digital implementation. So it really depends on what you are trying to achieve. So if tip number one, if someone's coming to you and saying, these are the metrics that you should be measuring, I would take that with a grain of salt and ask yourself, what are the real outcomes that I'm trying to achieve? So the way that we do that with our clients is we first talk about priorities, right? So if I were to ask a question around end-to-end visibility or around reducing headcount or around strategic sourcing savings, how would you prioritize that and rack and stack against everything else? So we go through 8 different levers. I've talked about them a lot on these videos. Same change levers that we talk about. So there's 8 of them. Policy, process, we have our people, we have organization, we have culture, data, metrics, and technology. So we go through all of those and we ask ourselves prioritization questions first. Through that exercise, you can hopefully, I'm going to turn around here, I'm at the end of my path, hopefully can understand what's truly important. Then the conversation turns to, how do we measure it? And I will tell you, and this kind of follows along with a lot of what happens with consulting firms and also at corporations. We try to make things really complicated, and they really don't need to be. So with your prioritization, and you don't have to go through the exercise that I just talked about either. You can simply sit down one day, have a leadership meeting, or even a conversation with yourself and say what's truly important. How are people going to look at this as a success? Are we setting the priority, if I could talk, in the right way so that we can achieve success not only for what you're looking for, but for the company? So once you have that, then you start talking about metrics. And again, don't overcomplicate it. We are talking 1 to 3 success metrics. So I'll give you an example of one where we were focused on automation and simplicity. And so the 2 key metrics were we want to be 100% PO backed and we want to be 100% e-invoicing. So if, and that's all. Yes, of course, we had metrics that supported that. But when we talk to the business about this is what we're trying to achieve, that's all it was. So very simple, very clear. And we knew at the end of the day that we had to hit our metrics. Now, I used 100% in those examples. Some people might be thinking, oh, Amanda, that's like no exceptions, no caveats. You're going to lose automatically because you put in 100%. I did that because I wanted to make a point, right? We are trying to get to 100% PO backed. Now, sometimes your culture might not work that way. If that's the case, use a different number, okay? So here's why what I'm talking about is important. First of all, you have people who will believe in the story, and you will have people that will believe in the metrics. You're going to need both to be successful in bringing people along. So make sure that the metrics that you do select are meaningful for the business. So that's either you select a metric that makes sense for the business itself, or if you're like, well, the business doesn't really care if it's 100% PO backed, tell the story around it to make it relevant for the business. And then every conversation that you have with internal stakeholders, with suppliers, with your teams, with executives, every time you bring up those metrics, okay? So it becomes very much part of your story. It also helps in design conversations when you have to make a decision to make sure that you're really staying focused on what's important. So with that said, those are two really easy ways to set up your metrics. So first, think about prioritization. Second, think of 1 to 3 different measurements that you can use and stand behind. And then your operational metrics all are in support of those 2 success metrics at the end of the day. So I hope that helps, and I hope you like this video and the walk. And we'll be back with another tea time here shortly. But if you liked the video, please hit the like button and the subscribe. We love bringing this content to you and sharing our insights and learnings that we've had along the way, not only in my career, but with our clients too. Until next time, cheers to you.